Thank you for visiting our channel. Please like, share and subscribe for more exciting food videos. Few breads capture the essence of Italian cooking like focaccia. This soft, dimpled flatbread, golden with olive oil, has been a staple in Italy for centuries. Its simplicity, just flour, water, yeast, and salt, belies its rich flavor, making it a favorite for gatherings or a quick snack. What sets focaccia apart is its versatility. Enjoy it plain, topped with rosemary and sea salt, or loaded with veggies for a heartier bite. It's no wonder this humble bread has crossed borders, loved everywhere from home kitchens to artisan bakeries. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned baker, focaccia's forgiving nature makes it a joy to make. Once you try it fresh from the oven, you'll understand why it's stood the test of time. The history and origin of focaccia. Focaccia's story begins long before modern ovens or recipes existed. This iconic bread traces its roots back to ancient Rome, where bakers made panis focaccius, a flatbread cooked in the ashes of a hearth. The name focaccia comes from the Latin focus, meaning hearth or fireplace, a nod to its humble beginnings as a simple, fire-baked staple. From Roman hearth to Italian table, the Romans enjoyed their version of focaccia as a practical, everyday food. It was easy to make, required few ingredients, and could feed crowds. Over time, this basic flatbread spread across Italy, with each region adding its own twist. By the Middle Ages, focaccia had evolved. Olive oil became a key ingredient, giving it the tender crumb and golden crust we love today. Herbs like rosemary, thyme, or sage were sprinkled on top, infusing the bread with local flavors. Unlike the Romans, who baked it in ashes, Italians now cooked it in wood-fired ovens, perfecting its texture. Regional twists across Italy. Just like pizza, focaccia reflects the tastes of its hometown. Here's how it varies across Italy. Liguria. The most famous version, focaccia Genovese, is light and airy, topped with olive oil and coarse salt. Some bakers add onions or olives. Tuscany. Expect a thicker, denser loaf, often flavored with sage or lard for richness. Puglia. Known as focaccia Bread, this southern style includes tomatoes, olives, and sometimes potatoes for extra softness. Sicily. Here, focaccia gets a sweet touch, brushed with honey or sprinkled with raisins and nuts. These regional differences show how adaptable focaccia is. Whether thin or thick, savory or sweet, it's always deeply tied to its local roots. A bread that stands the test of time. Centuries later, focaccia remains a staple, not just in Italy, but worldwide. Its simplicity is its strength. With just flour, water, yeast, and olive oil, it transforms into something extraordinary. Bakers today still use the same slow fermentation methods to develop its signature flavor. Think of it as Italy's answer to the perfect snack. No elaborate techniques, no fussy ingredients. Just good bread, baked the way it has been for generations. Key ingredients in authentic focaccia. The magic of focaccia lies in its simplicity. Just a handful of high-quality ingredients create its signature texture and flavor. Each component plays a specific role, from the tender crumb to the golden crust. Let's break down what makes them indispensable. The importance of olive oil in focaccia. Extra virgin olive oil isn't just an ingredient, it's the soul of focaccia. It does three key things. Adds moisture. The oil keeps the bread soft and prevents it from drying out, even after a day or two. Enhances richness. A good olive oil adds depth and a slightly fruity, peppery flavor you can't replicate with other fats. Creates texture. Brushing it on top before baking gives focaccia that golden, slightly crisp exterior. If you don't have extra virgin olive oil, a milder olive oil works, but avoid substitutes like vegetable oil. They lack the flavor that makes focaccia special. Choosing the right flour for focaccia. The flour you pick changes everything. Italian 00 flour is the traditional choice, prized for its fine texture and low protein content. This makes the dough soft and easy to stretch, giving focaccia its light, airy crumb. But all-purpose flour works well too. It's more accessible and still produces a tender loaf, though the crumb might be slightly denser. Avoid bread flour unless you like a chewier texture. Focaccia should be pillowy, not tough. Want the best of both worlds? Try blending 00 flour with all-purpose for balance. Salt and herbs, small but mighty. Salt does more than season. It controls yeast activity, strengthens the dough, and brings out the other flavors. Use sea salt or kosher salt for clean taste. Fresh herbs, like rosemary or thyme, add fragrance without overpowering. Press them into the dough before baking so they release their oils. Skip dried herbs if you can. They lack the bright, aromatic punch that fresh ones provide. These ingredients might seem basic, but together, they create something unforgettable. Get them right, and your focaccia will taste like it came straight from an Italian bakery. Step-by-step guide to making focaccia at home. Making focaccia at home is easier than you might think. With a few simple techniques, you'll get that soft, airy crumb and golden crust every time. Let's walk through kneading, proofing, and baking for foolproof results. Kneading and proofing the dough. The right dough consistency is key. It should be sticky but manageable, like a thick batter that pulls away from the bowl but still sticks to your fingers. Here's how to nail it. Mix gently. Combine flour, water, yeast, and salt in a bowl. Stir until just combined, no need to overmix. Knead lightly. Fold the dough in the bowl or on a floured surface for a few minutes until smooth. Avoid adding too much extra flour. Sticky dough means a lighter crumb. First proof. Let the dough rise at room temperature for 1 to 2 hours. It should double in size. A cold kitchen? Place the bowl in a turned-off oven with the light on for warmth. The second proof happens in the pan. Stretch the dough to fit a well-oiled baking sheet, dimple it with your fingers, and let it rise again for about half an hour. This creates those signature air pockets. Watch for these pitfalls. Over-kneading makes the bread tough. Skipping the second proof leads to a dense texture. Cold temps slow fermentation. If your dough isn't rising, move it somewhere warmer. Stay tuned for part 2. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, share and subscribe.